safety of people with disability and co-designing research with NDRP funding. In 2025, NDRP funded 15 disability-led research projects across Australia. Led by and with people with disability, these projects are building evidence and co-designing future research to drive change in safety, in access and inclusion. Today, we highlight 3 examples. The first project is a knowledge synthesis project, Barriers Within Bars, Indigenous People with Disability in Prison. Project lead, Associate Professor Sheelagh Daniel-Mays, lead organisation University of Melbourne in partnership with AccessAble Braille Enterprises. Introducing Associate Professor Sheelagh Daniels-Mays to explain more about the project.
It's co-designed, it's co-produced, it's very much about cultural safety, it's very much about disability confidence. So being able to then sort of take what we're learning from Black ability overall to the work of working with those in prison or having experienced prison has been a real leap forward in knowledge creation. We're conducting 3 focus groups and we're working with people who are academics, researchers. We're working with professional people. We're talking with family members, community advocates, legal services, and we're also talking with prisoners and ex-prisoners who have lived experience of disability and the criminal justice system.
Our second project is co-designing future research about Sometimes I'm Too Safe, exploring the dignity of risk. Project lead, Professor Rhonda Faragher, lead organisation, University of Queensland, in partnership with Down Syndrome Australia and Down Syndrome Queensland. Introducing Alana Pettigrew, lived experience researcher, who explains what the topic means to her.
People also need to try new things. Sometimes they will make mistakes, and they can learn from mistakes. We need to find a balance between being safe and being allowed to try new things and or choose to do things we want to do. We want to help parents, support workers and friends to know how to let people with intellectual disabilities to take risks but still be safe.
The third project is co-designing future research about reproductive justice and neurodivergence. The project lead is Dr Jessica Moulton. The lead organisation is the University of Melbourne in collaboration with the University of Technology, Sydney and University of Queensland, in partnership with Sexual Health and Family Planning ACT, Sexual Health Quarters WA and Sexual Health Victoria. Introducing Dr Jessica Moulton to explain what the project is about.
So our project is guided by our community reference group, which is made up of neurodivergent community members. And we really want to try and understand the barriers that people currently face when accessing sexual and reproductive healthcare and making choices about their bodies, lives and relationships. And we also want to try and uncover what safe and supported care looks like in order to improve outcomes and people's safety. Our research is about identifying where systems fall short and co-designing solutions that can actually make a policy and service delivery impact.
Introducing Ricky Spencer, a member of the Consumer Reference Group for this project. We asked Ricky why this work is important.
Hi everyone, my name is Ricky Spencer and I'm an Indigenous trans woman, and I'd like to mention a little bit why it's important to really understand the importance of reproductive health care for those who are neurodivergent and those who perhaps present in non-binary different expressions of gender when accessing important health care. One of the key messages, and as a member of the Consumer Advisory Group, that I think is important is understanding how we may communicate differently. Sometimes we may not be able to express ourselves clearly, but we are still people who care deeply, want to have children and raise children and make very good parents. All we want is to be given an opportunity to be part of reproductive health so we can help shape our future generations. Thank you.
Introducing Stephanie Divmov, Research Fellow and PhD candidate at the University of Melbourne. Steph is a key member of the team co-designing the research proposal. We asked Steph, what have you learned through this work?
So through this work, I've learned that many of the harms that neurodivergent people experience in reproductive and sexual health care don't come necessarily from individual clinicians, but from systems built around assumptions. So this might be things like being spoken over, having capacity questioned, or having decisions made without clear and accessible information. I've also learned how much changes when lived experiences shapes the research from the beginning. So it helps shift the questions that we ask in research. So this might be to do with consent, how we communicate as a team, and also around the choices that we make in the research as well. And really it changes how safety is understood too. So from managing risk in research to supporting autonomy and trust in the broader sort of research space. For me, this work matters because it shows what's possible when research is led by and with the people most affected, and importantly, when their experience is recognised as essential and not optional.
Introducing Cardi Whalen, Disability Team Lead at Sexual Health Victoria, a partner in this project. Cardi is a key member of the team co-designing the research proposal. Cardi talks about why this work is important.
This project is different than any project I've worked on before. By supporting neurodivergent voices in the ownership of research, especially on sensitive topics like reproductive rights, we're creating connections. It's not just professionals or academics coming in from the outside. It helps to create a connection with the participants and community if they can see themselves reflected in research. If people with neurodivergence can see that they've been included from the outset as research partners and project members, then others from the community are more likely to embrace the research, take on the outcomes, and then apply them in real world settings, relating in more on the ground change for people with neurodivergence. This project embraces the saying, nothing about us without us, and I'm really proud to be a part of this project group.
Dr Jessica Moulton explains why the project is disability-led.
I think disability-led research is really important, particularly in this space, is because often safety in terms of sexual and reproductive health gets framed in terms of risk. And when neurodivergent people aren't involved in the research, it misses what people actually find to be safe, respectful, and inclusive care. When lived experience shapes the research, it helps the research to stay grounded in real-world experiences and will allow us to identify neurodivergent people's priorities in this space and also the real barriers they experience when accessing care and trying to make informed choices about their bodies and their lives. So it shifts the focus away from managing risk to actually determining whether people have real choice, whether they feel respected, and whether they're actually able to make informed choices about their bodies, lives, and relationships. So by centering neurodivergent perspectives, we can actually design systems that adapt to people rather than people having to constantly adapt to the system or have to be constantly advocating for themselves.
To our 2025 funded teams, thank you. Thank you for your generosity in sharing your work. Thank you for your leadership in showing what research by and with people with disability truly looks like in practice. We have been wowed by your energy, your enthusiasm, and the sheer effort you have invested. We cannot wait to see your final reports and, more importantly, the change your work will continue to drive. It is February 2026. Many teams are already preparing their applications for this new funding round. Across Australia, people with disability, researchers, advocates, and community partners are coming together, ready to lead the next wave of disability research. The momentum is building, and this is just the beginning.